The 10 Commandments. 40 years. That's how long the people of Israel had wandered through the wilderness. A generation passed away, and now their children stood at the edge of promise. But before they could cross into the land of Canaan, Moses, their aged leader, prophet, and servant of God, stood before them one final time. With the sun rising behind him, and the presence of God stirring in his words, Moses reminded the people of who they were, and whose they were. He didn't begin with rules. He began with relationship. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. This was no distant deity. This was the God who saves, the God who rescues, the God who makes covenants. And then he spoke. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a carved image. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Observe the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. Honor your father and your mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet. These 10 commandments weren't just ancient laws, they were divine instruction, a holy mirror to show the people their need for a Savior. And just as God had spoken them once from the fiery heights of Mount Sinai, now he spoke them again, through Moses, to a new generation, a generation called to faithfulness. Why repeat them? Because God's law doesn't change, but hearts often do. And this law, given in Deuteronomy 5 verses 6 to 21, pointed beyond obedience. It pointed to Jesus. Yes, every commandment, every word, every book, from Genesis to Revelation, whispers his name. Jesus is the only one who kept the law perfectly. He honored every commandment, not just in deed, but in heart. Where we fail, he succeeded. Where we fall short, he stands tall. And on the cross, the curse of the law was laid upon him, so that we, through his death and resurrection, might receive grace. For the Christian, the law now serves not as a chain, but as a compass. It guides, it teaches, and yes, it still convicts. But most of all, it drives us to the foot of the cross, where mercy flows, and where hearts are made new. As Moses reminded Israel, so we are reminded today, we are God's people, chosen, redeemed, called to love the Lord with all our heart, soul, and strength. And in Jesus Christ, the law is fulfilled, and the promise is made sure. From the mountain of commandments to the hill of Calvary, every step has led us here. To grace. To Jesus. Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone who believes. Romans 10 verse 4. The story always leads to him.